Could a new state law send some San Marcos businesses up in smoke?
You're close to graduating and maybe nervous about finding a job. Texas State has a whole office to help with that.
Maybe this is a post-pandemic result, is students are kind of done with online classes and they're trying to recapture their summer back.
Whatever the reason, there are fewer students on campus and fewer classes for them to take.
I'm Jack Lysek. We're here at Trout Huffman Hall to discuss how elevator maintenance and breakdowns affect the lives of physically disabled students, faculties, and staff.
And later, we'll show you some fun on the San Marcos River. It is lit.
Hi, and welcome to the summer edition of Bobcat Update. I'm Grace Rayborn.
And I'm Zane Vandover. We're glad you could join us. San Marcos was a safe zone for possession of small amounts of pot.
Right? 8 out of 10 voters here supported Prop A back in 2022 to not arrest people for that personal use. That law got overturned by appeals court back in April.
Now, state lawmakers want to go even further and ban all products with THC. If Governor Abbott signs it, it'll become law.
Reporter Faith Lewis talked to some people who are really invested in this issue.
I sat down with Eric Martinez, Executive Policy Director of Mano Amiga, and he tells us how this bill can jeopardize hardworking citizens' jobs around San Marcos and in the state of Texas.
Yeah, so SB 3 isn't just a ban on THC. It's a deliberate choice to expand criminalization instead of care. And like every era of the drug war, the fallout lands hardest on working class people, students who are trying to stay afloat, and Black and brown communities already under surveillance and those that are already over-policed, right? Bans don't end drug use. They just make it riskier, more violent, and more profitable for bad actors. This bill alone will eliminate 50,000 plus jobs, cut about $5.5 billion in annual sales from our Texas economy. And you consider the fact that 24 U.S. states plus D.C. have legal recreational marijuana, Texas is going backward.
I also took the time to visit Logan McKinney, a local smoke shop employee, and he gives us more insight on what's at stake at his job currently and for Texans if the bill were to be passed.
Yeah. So we've talked about converting into maybe like something else, like some kind of coffee bar or something, but most likely we will have to shut down because most of our sales are the flower with the THC or any other cannabinoids. That's what we focus on. So we'd probably be closing down, yeah. After a ban, these people aren't going to stop using cannabis. A lot of people don't want to turn to the pharmaceuticals. Their body can't handle it, or they just don't want to take those pills and so they turn to cannabis, and it helps them a lot. So they found legal ways to access it. And after this, a lot of people in San Marcos and all over Texas are going to be either back to buying from the black market or not getting their medicine.
This is Faith Lewis with Bobcat Update.
Texas lawmakers also sent a bill to Governor Greg Abbott that will make most county sheriffs in Texas help with immigration enforcement. The Texas Tribune reports that sheriffs would have to help ICE agents if they operate a jail in their county. That means sheriffs in almost all of the 254 counties in Texas. The bill, Senate Bill 8, passed by the House and Senate by almost 2-1 margins. Governor Abbott is expected to sign it into law. Activists took to the streets of Austin Monday night in a show of support for protesters in Los Angeles. People have been taking to the streets of LA for a week because of an immigration crackdown there. Here in Austin, hundreds of people met at the state capitol at 7 p.m. Monday, then marched to the J.J. Pickle Federal Building a few blocks away. There was a tense standoff there for an hour with protesters facing off with Austin police and state troopers. It ended after dark with tear gas and arrest. The Austin protest was organized by the local chapter of the Party for Socialism and Liberation. In LA, protesters took to the streets every night for the last week. The mayor ordered a curfew, nobody out between 8 p.m. and 6 a.m., and that calmed things down the last couple nights. But before that, hundreds of protesters chanted, marched, and sometimes set fire to cars. President Trump ordered 4,000 National Guard troops there to help LA police. Normally, governors ask for the National Guard help, not the president. California Governor Gavin Newsom sued the Trump administration to stop the Guard deployment. A judge in San Francisco will hear that case today.
Data from the Labor Department shows that about 247,000 people filed for unemployment benefits for the first time during the week ending May 31st. That's much higher than what economics expected, and it is the highest weekly total in 8 months. The U.S. job market has slowed down a lot over the past year. This slowdown is mostly because employers are hiring fewer people and not because they are doing a lot of layoffs. That sounds like bad news for students who are about to graduate, like us.
Yeah, no doubt. But reporter Aiden Martinez found out that Texas State has some experts on staff just to help us find work.
Texas State's Career Services, located on the top floor of LBJ, offers several resources to help students find jobs or internships.
We'll show you how Career Services can help you get ready for the job.
We spoke with Ross Wood, the Associate Director of Career Services, who told us how Career Services can help you.
See the career education team, and what career educators are is basically we have career educators assigned to the different academic colleges, really to get to know the students that are in those academic colleges, the employers that are hiring students in those academic colleges, get to know the faculty that are in those areas. The idea is that we're not jack of all trades, master of none, is we get to know those specific areas to be able to help students transition from student to professional in whatever capacity that means. Resume review, cover letter review, interview practice, LinkedIn. Honestly, I practice handshakes with students if that's what they need help with.
We also spoke with graduating senior Zane Vanover, who recently landed his new job with the help of Career Services.
Yeah, so I had heard a long time ago from my folks that they had known this digital media marketing guy out in San Antonio. I had known about the reference for some months, but I said, you know what, I'll do it on myself. I looked through LinkedIn, I looked through Indeed, Handshake, all that. But I mean, for an electronic media major, I guess that's not really the optimal way to go, because I didn't find success until I started networking. And once I started networking, I started to find more success and start moving on some things. So the first thing I did right away was I went ahead, I texted Elliot, which is now my boss, and I just said, hey, I'm Zane Vanover. I'm about to graduate with an electronic media major. I do this, and this good. I'd love to stay in contact. And he said, I'll call you in 15 minutes. But it's just about trusting the process. It's, I've been personally scared, real anxious about this whole new venture, but it's just about going about the steps and the processes. And for anyone who has made it this far in college, a job is just going to be another thing. We've worked so hard for this degree, and a job is just kind of another version of school in my head, especially if you network and just don't give up on getting something that relates to your degree. And, for us, electronic media. And so, yeah, I just took the foundation that school gave me. And then with all the new information that I've been getting, I've just kind of been blending the two together and just slowing down, realizing I'm new, and not letting the pressure overwhelm me.
For Bobcat Update, I'm Aiden Martinez.
Fewer Bobcats, fewer classes. Texas State is scaling back this summer.
I found out that low enrollment means slim pickings for students trying to stay on track.
For years, Texas State students have used summer classes as a way to get ahead, knocking out credits and graduating sooner than planned. According to data from Texas State's Institutional Research Office, as many as 1,500 students graduated each summer between 2015 and 2024. And during those years, the campus felt alive. So what changed?
Where is everybody?
Texas State's summer enrollment dropped from 28,000 in 2021 to 24,000, leading to a reduced summer budget. Dr. Judy Oscom, Director of School and Journalism and Mass Communication, says the drop in enrollment was unexpected and may have several causes.
We saw the trend starting last summer. I think students, maybe this is a post-pandemic result, is students are kind of done with online classes and they're trying to recapture their summer back. We're really not sure. And what we're doing now, we're having to really gauge enrollment much more in a much more detailed way. So I'm curious too about why students are not enrolling. Post-pandemic reaction. And I think we're going to have to look at new and different ways of doing courses. We already do some condensed 8-week courses. We already do in the regular terms, the long terms. We already do some boot camp type courses. They don't live in a 12-month situation in San Marcos. They have to go home, which is why the online works. But what we're finding is students are wanting to do a summer internship or a job or take advantage of one of our education abroad trips. Now,
We also spoke with Ruby Guzman, a student at Texas State who is taking summer classes, and she explained how she had issues finding the perfect schedule due to the lack of courses being offered.
Did have issues because I wanted to have take certain electives and they were not offered this summer, so that was a bummer. And yeah, like my schedule kind of got messed up because of that. But other than that, just the restrictions. There was a lot of restrictions in regards of like study abroad. I couldn't take I wanted to take some psychology classes for my minor and they were not offered because they were abroad.
For Bobcat Update, I'm Grace Rayborn.
For those of us on campus, sometimes we want to dodge the stairs and heat by catching the elevator.
That's right, and students with mobility issues really count on them. Reporter Jack Laysite joins us live from Old Main.
Jack, you found out why some of the elevators are out of service, right?
Yes, Grace. In fact, there are 157 elevators spread across Texas State University's campus. And for some parts of the students, faculty, and staff, these elevators are essential for their mobility to get to and from different locations on campus. For most Texas State students, elevators are something of a luxury here on campus, with our steep inclines and cumbersome stairs. But for the physically disabled students, faculty, and staff, these elevators are essential. And more frequently, they are also becoming more unreliable.
We got the chance to sit down with the Disability Services Director, Gavin Staker.
Now, when it comes to the elevators, that is not something that is always expected. We realize that they can go out at any point. It is unfortunate when it does, but that is when we try to work with both facilities as well as the faculty and the students to try to create some type of alternative for the interim.
Texas State is an old campus. So many of the elevators in older buildings are difficult to maintain just because of their age. And some buildings structurally can't handle the extra weight of an elevator. And out of the elevators that are on campus, 5 to 10% of them are out of order at any given time, according to construction manager Tim Haley.
On the facility's website, there is a way that individuals can report these types of issues. So that way, once facilities is aware of it, then they can also collaborate with other departments around campus that might need to be aware of this too.
While both disability services and facilities are doing all they can to provide a safe and effective environment for disabled Bobcats, there's only so much they can do on their own. They need students to help inform them of problems that might persist and help to keep good care of the buildings on campus.
All right, Jack, and where do Texas State students need to look out for downed elevators?
Yes, Zane. So the elevator right now over at Trout Huffman Hall is completely broken, as well as the elevator over in Hines Academic. The elevator makes jostling noises. There's several other elevators, just like this one here in Old Main, that make strange noises and other signs of need for repair or maintenance. And the people that work over at facilities want students to know that if you encounter an elevator that has some kind of a weird noise or the doors sort of jostle or jimmy as they open, to please let somebody either at facilities or disability services know so that they can attend to that elevator. Back to you, Zane.
Thanks, Jack. And you know, a couple of Bobcat sports teams had a really strong finish to their season.
Yeah, especially track and field, but there's bigger news in sports right now.
Universities will start paying their athletes this fall. We'll show you why.
Coming up, we'll share some tips on how you can stay safe while riding scooters across the Texas State campus.
And then I really want our print paper to look great every week. I think it's so fun to be able to design pages and make them look nice.
We'll introduce you to the new editor-in-chief whose team is keeping the lights on this summer at the University Star.
And that's not the only thing lit this summer. Grab your life vest and we'll take you along.
San Marcos Regional Animal Shelter's mission is to care for, protect, and find quality homes for abandoned and neglected animals. Approximately 6.5 million animals enter a shelter, and only 3 million of those animals are adopted each year. More than half of those animals are left in the shelter without a home. Save a life and adopt or foster today. Contact the San Marcos Regional Animal Shelter at 512-805-2650. San Marcos Regional Animal Shelter, protecting and saving the lives of the pets of San Marcos.
We mentioned that there aren't many students on campus this summer, but we also found a few hard at work.
Yeah, the editors at the University Star were hard at work last week, putting out one of 2 summer issues. I caught up with new editor-in-chief Blake Lesper. The University Star, located in Trinity Hall, has been a place for student journalists to cover San Marcos and Texas State news.
You know how when you watch Oh, that's right.
But recently, they had a shakeup in management. The new editor-in-chief, Blake Lesper, tells us more about his goals.
Kind of a lot I want to do. I really want to revamp our social media and have more online exclusive content to get more people to go to our website and more people to view our website. Having more daily content on our website not only drives up our traffic and drives up the amount of people that are viewing our stories, it potentially allows us to get more advertisers, and it makes our website look more robust and more like a regular newspaper website. And then I really want our print paper to look great every week. I think it's so fun to be able to design pages and make them look nice and have unique things on our pages and have unique stories. So I think it's something else I want to do is really prioritize page design and design just in the paper in general.
On the topic of design, we also spoke with the Star's design editor, Jen Ewan, about her role and how it's changed with a new EIC around.
There's going to be more projects for sure, because Blake definitely is very enthusiastic and he has a lot of visions. But I don't think it'd be too hard just because it seems like he's pretty open to more creative design. Because the paper is divided into sections, it completely and utterly depends on what visual is going to go in that section. Because usually news, a lot less freedom. But if it's something like the life and art section or the opinion section, we usually get a little bit more creative freedom. But for page 1 specifically, that's usually mostly up to me and Blake, and we usually just have to meet in the middle with those things, which is fine.
Hey Grace, have you tried the electric scooters around town?
No, I'm not gonna lie. They make me a little nervous. How about you?
No, I haven't tried one either, but reporter Hunter Michonne not only took a spin, he talked with an expert about the rules of the road.
For college students taking summer classes, getting around campus can be brutal in the summer heat. But luckily, Spin Scooters makes it bearable.
We got the chance to sit down with Kat Hoyt, the Alternative Programs Coordinator for the University Police Department, who gave us insight into the rules and regulations of these vehicles.
So we follow the same with a lot of state laws. So if you're going to be on them, you have to be in a roadway. They're not allowed to be driven on sidewalks, which is the same thing across the state.
While riders can use these scooters on roads, they still need to be aware of bike lanes and pedestrians who have the right of way.
Definitely following the traffic, understanding that the bike lanes are there for a reason. And just because you are in a bike lane, you are still in a lane of traffic, meaning you still have to obey traffic laws, stopping at red lights, stopping at stop signs, yielding, and being aware of your scenario. Something that we always talk about, same thing with walking, don't have both headphones in. You want to make sure that you're able to hear traffic. And then if you're going to bring a personally owned bike, scooter, whatever it may be, anywhere on or off campus, make sure you have a good lock to lock it up.
While spin remains the dominant force in scooter usage in San Marcos, that may not be the case for much longer. In a recent press conference, San Marcos Director of Public Works, Saba Sevilla, said that Spin's contract with the city is set to run out at the end of the month, and while they have the option to re-sign for another year, no decision has been made at the current moment, as citywide rider levels have decreased in recent years. In the meantime, e-scooters will continue spinning their wheels and aiding students getting around campus. For Bobcat Update, I'm Hunter Michon.
It's pretty slow this month in sports. Well, it was.
Yeah, not a lot of action on the playing fields, but some big news from the NCAA. Sports reporter Jackson Cruz joins us with a look at this developing story. Jackson?
Thank you, Zane. We all know about NIL deals that pay college athletes, name, image, likeness, but there's a huge chance coming to college sports this week that will bring a whole new way to pay players. A federal judge in California approved a legal settlement that will let universities pay their athletes. This case started 5 years ago when a swimmer at Arizona State sued the NCAA. Under the new agreement, colleges can start paying their players as early as next month. Universities will be able to spend up to $20.5 million a year to pay athletes directly. The settlement also sets aside almost $3 billion to pay former college athletes who couldn't get paid as students over the last 10 years. This doesn't replace NIL deals, those will still be around. By the way, NCAA settlement is already back in court. A big coalition of women athletes sued because most of the money, 95%, will go to male athletes, especially football and basketball players. The lawsuit says that clearly violates Title IX rules to give equal support to men's and women's sports. After another disappointing season from Texas State baseball, an array of key players, most notably star shortstop Brian Farber, have announced they are entering the transfer portal. Coach Steven Trout faces a daunting task next season, with a lot of pressure from fans to repeat the success of the 2022 season where they made an appearance in the NCAA regionals. Led by athletes Kason O'Reilly, Aiden Hayes, Milani Duran, Drew Donley, and more, Texas State track and field is coming off a successful 2024-25 season where they swept the Sun Belt Outdoor Conference Championships and ranked inside the top 25 programs in the nation. The team aims to continued success when the indoor season begins this fall. That's all I have for sports.
Thanks, Jackson. And wow, that decision for colleges to pay athletes, I mean, that's wild.
No doubt. By the way, Texas State Athletic Director Don Coryell already sent out a text message this week encouraging people to buy season tickets and donate to athletics to prepare for the new funding model this fall.
Well, it'll be interesting to see where this goes. Thanks, Jackson.
A lazy drift down a river is a long-time summer tradition here in Central Texas. It's a great way to cool off, and in some spots, they'll give you a lift back to the start, so you could go over and over again. But reporter Jaden Lockett enlightens us about a nighttime twist on kayaking the San Marcos River.
As the sun disappears behind the San Marcos skyline, the river begins to glow, literally. Clear-bottom kayaks with LED lights light up the water below, giving paddlers a neon-colored view of the river like they've never seen before. Leading the way on nights like this is tour guide James Kalla, who's been helping guests discover the magic of the river after dark.
I've been working here for about 3 months, and my favorite thing about the job is getting paid to just like paddle out on the river, man. Love teaching people about the outdoors, and it's just like lifelong passion for it.
A growing attraction that combines nature, color, and calm on the water. James and the team walk guests through safety steps, hand out gear, and lead the group into the water just after sunset.
Gonna get suited up in life jackets. We'll give them paddles, give them a brief kind of introduction to what the trip's gonna look like, brief introduction to how to paddle, all that good stuff. Then we take them down to the water, get them into their boats, paddle downriver, just kind of hanging out, talking. We'll hang out at Rio Vista for about 5-10 minutes, take pictures, have fun down there.
Tours last a little over an hour, plenty of time to unwind and take in the scenery. For locals, it's a chance to see their city in a new light. For visitors, it's one of the most unforgettable ways to experience San Marcos.
I think we get a really good mix of like locals and tourists. Tons of people see our stuff through Instagram and they're like, holy crap, that just seems like a really cool experience. They're local to the area. We definitely get families. I see tons of couples out here. All the like being a good guide that I can do and all the cool stuff that I can provide. Like the people are coming for the river, like crystal clear. Seeing all the way to the bottom is like a treat. We're locally owned, locally operated. It's college students doing it. Everybody that works here has a great passion for it. Yeah, can't recommend it enough. It's cheap too. You can afford it.
With a passionate staff, guided tours, and a glowing twist, San Marcos Glow Kayaks continues to turn quiet nights into unforgettable memories, one paddle at a time. This is Jaden Lockett with Bobcat Update.
That looks so cool!
It does. We need to get out there and just try it.
That's all we have for the summer edition of Bobcat Update. We're glad you could join us.
Watch this space for more news throughout the month of June and stay cool out there.